Okay, so this is not a rant video. I hope you guys enjoy these. I enjoy doing them. A lot of fun here. So let's get into it. Should you quit your 9 to 5? That is the question. And the answer to that question is absolutely not. Well, not right now, okay? I know people have dreams and aspirations of, better things, bigger lives, doing your side hustle, your dream job, what you really want to do, starting that business. I'm not saying you can't do that with quitting your 9 to 5, but quitting your 9 to 5 right now, as it stands right now, generally not the right move. Probably the worst move you could be making, quite frankly. And I think Gen Z doesn't really understand just how bad it is compared to before. Right now, it's all over everyone's feed. You go on TikTok, you see everywhere. People have been looking for jobs for months and months and months and months, and they're going on, it looks like half a year, 6 months, without landing anything, or longer. There's plenty of stories on TikTok right now of people being unable to find any work at all in their chosen field. Now, we hear from the boomers all the time that people don't really want to work, or, this generation is so entitled that they don't want to work. I don't think it's that. I think there are some that are like that, but I don't think it's that. I think it's just that the job market is completely messed up at the moment, and you see it everywhere because so many people are reporting the exact same thing. Now, I have friends who are in management positions, managing positions, and they tell me for every sort of one job application they have open, they might get flooded with hundreds and hundreds of resumes and applications from people trying to get a job there. So oftentimes you're not even getting looked at by a person. There just isn't enough time, according to some of these HR people, to actually go through your application. And so it's literally a lottery. You have better chances maybe of even winning the lottery than getting a viable, good job as it stands. Now, that's in certain fields. I'm going to say most fields right now. However, if you have sort of a degree that actually matters, if you have like a STEM degree, an engineering degree, you generally can find work. If you're willing to do construction stuff, anything like that, in that industry, you can basically find work. CDL, long haul trucking, anything like that, or union-based work. That's easier to get jobs in now. Well, not now. That stuff is always sort of rolling. Although I will say with the trades, that's a whole other ball game, because I'm going to get into that in a bit. But we're still going to keep ranting about the corpo job, your general office job. Very, very hard to come by as it stands. I keep hearing about it all over the internet. People have been being like, oh, I took this business administration program. I cannot find work for it. So I have to either go down to retail hell, right? Or start getting the burger fryers flipping. And would you like fries with that? In my case, we can skip the fries, go for straight iced coffee, and I will be panhandling for change outside while offering hand. Never mind, okay, we're not even going there. But the point of this rant is just to empathize with what Gen Z and the millennials, my generation, the millennials, are even struggling with, because it's crazy out there right now. You don't really want to be giving, if you have a job, you don't really want to be giving it up right now, because it is absolutely brutal out there. Probably one of the worst job markets in recent memory. I've heard stories that have compared it even as far back as 2008. And 2008 was record year for being an awful job market, because that was when the global recession happened. If you don't remember, the housing crisis, at least in the States and basically around the world for a lot of countries, collapsed, where the entire globe went into a recession because of the housing market. Equity bonds totally failed. It was a shit show. Now, we don't seemingly have any sort of mechanism that has fired for the job market to be as bad as it is in comparison to that. But again, if you have one, don't give it up. Don't give it up just to start your side hustle, to start your secret project. Do that on the side. Do it on the side and get it rolling with some money. Your secondary business, whatever venture you're going into, okay? Whatever is fulfilling your soul, so to speak, get that going on the side. That way you have the income to build your own runway and continue going while having a little savings sort of nest egg, an emergency fund to cover some expenses when or if you get into any trouble. And half the problem with having a business or running a business or any sort of thing like that is you're going to have costs and expenses, and you need to basically build out a runway. And a runway essentially is just money, okay? That's all it is. And having a job, your 9 to 5, will fill that void. Filling the void of that to keep you afloat, to keep it rolling. So when you eventually get momentum on that thing, you can sort of take off and leave your 9 to 5 if you have to, if you got enough time, if you're bored of it, or if it's too soul draining. But right now, no. As of right now in the fall of 2025, it is 100% the worst idea you could ever partake in. As of right now, the job market is so completely saturated with people seeking jobs, and there are so many schemes, and I don't even want to say scams going out there, but there are fake job listings out there right now, folks. Fake job listings. How does that even work? Okay, I see it all the time. There'll be like you look up the company, it's like, this is a multi-level marketing scheme. This is a Ponzi scheme company, okay, that's been offering fake job listings to get your resume info to sell it to someone, which is crazy, which is why you start seeing all these spam emails pop up in your inbox. Not only that, you see like weird stuff going on with some of these hiring places. They'll put out a job listing, then you go learn that no one has ever been hired for the job, despite even having like viable, experienced candidates. They didn't hire anyone. So why did you even list the job on the website or on the internet for people to apply to? I don't know, dude. It's really, really weird out there and really, really tough in a lot of different sectors. But like I said, at the middle of this video, at the start, some places have it easier. The engineering, you'll always be in demand. If you have specific skills, licenses, accreditation in certain subjects, you can be hired basically on the spot. I'm talking your high-end sort of doctor, lawyer, engineer, that sort of field. But, also tradesmen can make their own living, make their own way. Now, the problem with the trades, the whole rub with the trades, I have a lot of friends who did trades, right? The issue with the trades, at least after you've gone out of trades college, is that good luck getting the apprenticeship. That's half the battle, and you need to get that to get certified. So if you can't even get your apprenticeship, and none of these people, these tradesmen, you hear it all the time, they're complaining about nobody wants to do the trades. Well, you're not taking in apprentices as they come. Okay, you're turning down people who want to work in your industry, or straight up bullying them out of it so that they can't even get a foot in to get into what should be like a fairly easy go at it. Not an easy go, but a straightforward path in. They've made it much more difficult. I've been talking to people who graduated, some of my friends who graduated from trades programs. They're having trouble getting into the trade they studied for. I know someone who was having problems for a year. They worked at, a gas station. I ran into them late, and they always gave me, this isn't a friend of mine. This is a random person. And they always gave me so many dirty looks because I would take my car in there, my Monte Carlo, okay, I'd take it in there to get washed. And then it was a rainy day, so I'd get, they would say, If you're not satisfied, you get a free car wash again. And I said, well, look, it rained. It rained right after I took my car in, so I'm going to need a car wash for free. Thank you. I'm not satisfied. Dude, that guy really friggin' hated me. Anyway, years went by. Not too many years, but like 2 or 3. Friggin', I had problems with my ISP. I called them up. Yeah, he's the one who showed up at my door, and we have to act like we don't know each other. It's like, oh God. Oh no, not you. Not you. Out of anyone. I have a really good memory for the most part, so I could place exactly where I knew this thing from. That guy I don't think could with me. But I remember he was complaining. He's like, I just finished the electrical. I can't even get a job as an apprentice. Nowhere's taking apprentices for electrical engineering, which is being an electrician. And he had so many problems. And now he's working as in the ISP industry, doing like phones and internet stuff, not electrical. Okay. Not getting that 80 grand a year plus. So there are downsides to the trades, and not even to mention the unions. Okay. The unions out there right now, I think that's a hard thing to get into. I've heard it's always been a hard thing, but especially now, even worse than usual. So it's really a bad time. If you were thinking about getting into your sort of side hustle, your secret project or whatever, to break you out of the 9 to 5, you might want to put that on hold indefinitely. Okay? That dream, you can just flush it down. No, I'm kidding. But I'm saying you can do that on the side. Keep your 9 to 5 as it is right now because, dude, these jobs, very hard to come by. Very,